Here's more wrestling news for May 13th, 2022, and your headlines for this afternoon include WWE does not require talent to sign non-disclosure agreements, WWE to resume NXT touring next month, reported update on the future of WWE 2K, Kota Ibushi plans to expose toxic culture of New Japan Pro Wrestling, spoiler on AEW star appearing at Impact Wrestling's Citrus Brawl tapings, Leyla Hirsch believed to be out of action with an injury, Tony Khan accused of stealing ideas, Cody Rhodes recently offered AEW stars' parents tickets to WWE, details on ex-WWE star locking The Undertaker in a bathroom before legitimate fight, Jake Roberts says rumors of his poor health are totally untrue, Booker T explains why Sonny shouldn't be removed from WWE Hall of Fame, and more. We're starting off with WWE, as the company has hired and fired a lot of talent in recent years, with mass purges of wrestlers and backstage workers becoming a regular occurrence. Typically, a superstar will sign a non-compete clause upon joining WWE, meaning they can't work elsewhere for a fixed period if they're released from their contracts. With the non-compete clauses well known, one might feel safe to assume that WWE also makes wrestlers sign non-disclosure agreements, preventing them from revealing the inner workings of WWE, but as Mike Johnson explained on PW Insider Q&A, that isn't the case. I know the top execs have NDAs, but I don't believe talents do officially. They're all advised not to speak out against the company when they are released, but once they're free, they can do whatever they want. While released superstars could tell all about WWE and its inner workings, most choose not to, wisely realizing that this could hurt their future prospects if it seems like they can't be trusted, but there's nothing legal stopping these wrestlers from revealing it all. In March 2020, as the C19 situation spread, WWE nixed all plans for NXT live events, and the show has been stuck in the Performance Center ever since. NXT has certainly undergone plenty of changes in the 2 1/3 years since their last live event, and now the show could be going back on the road. On his show, Meltzer reported that WWE is having talks about NXT 2.0 touring, saying it would happen exclusively in Florida. This isn't the first time these talks have happened, but Meltzer said that things have gotten further than ever before, thanks in part to much of the US reopening. Since NXT's launch into NXT 2.0, the paint-splattered brand has struggled to win over audiences but has gained a small following, so we'll have to see how this tour fares should WWE take the company back on the road. Ahead of the launch of WWE 2K22, it was reported that this was a make-or-break game for WWE's relationship with 2K Games, and that if the latest installment had been done poorly, WWE would take their plans to EA. WWE 2K22 released last month and has proven to be a success, and while the WWE 2K relationship will continue, Vince McMahon's promotion is bringing in a name from the past. Sports Gamers Online was the first to report that Brian Williams is set to return to WWE to work with future installments of the franchise after he previously worked for over a decade with Ukes. Ukes were responsible for WWE games before the company signed a deal with 2K, and it's also reported that Williams' contract with Ukes has only recently come to an end. We know that Williams took a leading role in the development of creative features, including Create a Finisher, Create an Arena, and more, and with plenty of expertise in making wrestling games, this is great news for the future of WWE 2K games. We've got news from New Japan now, as Kota Ibushi hasn't wrestled since injuring his shoulder at the G1 Climax in October, and his relationship with the promotion has been strained since then. This week, Ibushi tweeted out several grievances with the company, saying that power harassment happens every day to foreign talent, and shared screenshots with a booker called Kikuchi, who seemingly threatens to fire him. Ibushi isn't backing down, however, as when responding to a fan on Twitter, he said that New Japan has a culture of letting bad things slide rather than deal with them, and says he is going to expose all of it. Speaking about the decision last year to unify the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and IWGP Intercontinental Championship, Ibushi said he guessed he was the right person to be the inaugural IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, but that the decision to unify the titles never made sense to him. While Kota Ibushi is one of the biggest stars to ever make his name in New Japan, his comments in recent days will have certainly riled up the decision makers, meaning he may not be a New Japan Pro Wrestling star for much longer. Back in April, Leyla Hirsch got injured during a taping of AEW Dark Elevation, and we now have a slight update on her condition. During PW Insider Q&A, Mike Johnson was asked about Hirsch and said that the belief among the AEW locker room is that she has suffered a torn ACL and possibly MCL. If so, this will keep the Russian star out for the foreseeable future, as WWE's Bayley is yet to return from her torn ACL injury she suffered back in July 2021, as all plans for a big push for Hirsch have been put on the back burner for now. Unlike other promoters, especially Vince McMahon, Tony Khan is very active on social media and has never shied away from interacting with others. Whether it's promoting his shows or trolling fans, Khan remains busy on Twitter, and it turns out that some of his interactions have influenced the company's plans. That's according to Khan himself, who revealed that Twitter has become a source of ideas for AEW during his appearance on the Swerve City podcast. I do think we get good ideas from it. Being connected with the fans and the other wrestlers, you get ideas. Not every idea is possible. Sometimes there are good ideas you just can't do. Khan said that he got the idea for moving graphics from a fan on social media, and that a segment from this past week's Dynamite involving CM Punk came from Twitter, with Khan making sure to tell the fan it was a good idea. Long ago, wrestling booking and creative were a closely guarded secret, with only a select few people in the know, but as Khan has proven, good ideas don't just have to come from those working in the industry. When Cody Rhodes left AEW to join WWE, fans were shocked by the decision, as Cody had once said he'd be with the All Elite promotion for the rest of his life. While Cody is gone, he's not forgotten about his time in AEW and even made an interesting offer to the family of MJF. Sitting down with Brandon Walker of Wrastlin', MJF discussed his old rival, but given that Cody has left AEW and joined WWE, the Salt of the Earth had nothing but praise for the American Nightmare. Calling Rhodes a sweetheart, MJF said that Cody had texted MJF's mom and dad, offering them free tickets to a SmackDown show in Long Island, which they were unfortunately unable to make. MJF's heel character means that they will take any opportunity to bash AEW and rile up the company's faithful fans, which explains why he's a big fan of the former TNT champion who jumped to WWE. MJF's own contract with AEW expires in January 2024, and it's been reported that he's strongly considering leaving to join WWE. So although his parents missed this SmackDown in Long Island, they may be attending WWE events in the future. Now, most fans won't know the name Tank Toland, but in 2005, the wrestler had a brief run on SmackDown. Working as James Dick alongside Chad Dick in a team which you can guess what they were called, Toland's time on TV was short-lived, but he did do quite a bit backstage. Speaking on the Café de Renee podcast, Toland recalled wanting to fit in and said that Chad was instructed to legitimately punch his tag partner to fit in. Under pressure, Chad locked The Undertaker, in addition to several WWE superstars, in a bathroom so they didn't see him pleading with Toland to just take the punch. Tank adds, "I remember Taker telling the story the next day to some of the other guys I heard. And he's like, yeah, so we were gonna open the door. I open the door, it doesn't open. The little us in. They all started that he got one over on them. So he went from down here, totally freaking buried, to over like All it took was for Chad to get a laugh out of the dead man to earn the respect of the locker room, and Toland said it was former US champion Orlando Jordan who came to The Undertaker's rescue. Orlando was the one that unlocked the door. He wasn't in there, so Orlando unlocked the door, the boys came out, and they saw him on his hands and knees begging me. The following night, Chad punched Toland to be accepted by the locker room, and Chad retaliated by firing back, knocking his tag partner out in the process in what is one unique hazing ritual overseen by one of the all-time greats. Earlier this week, it was reported that Jake the Snake Roberts was in poor health, as revealed by AEW commentator Jim Ross. On his podcast, JR said that this is why fans haven't seen Roberts with Lance Archer as of late, but these claims may have been exaggerated. Roberts took to Twitter and addressed the rumors about him, as he stated that the rumors are entirely untrue and that he'll be around for a long time. While Jake Roberts is not in the same condition he was 30 years ago, he is doing better than first believed, which is fantastic news for the WWE Hall of Famer. We will have to wait and see when Jake Roberts will be returning to AEW television, but after a legendary career and overcoming several demons in the process, the Snake Man has earned some time off. In March, Tammy Sitch was involved in a 3-vehicle crash that killed one man and has been charged with DUI manslaughter, among other felonies. With this latest run-in with the law, there have been calls for Sitch to be stripped of her WWE Hall of Famer status, with Mark Henry and Bill DeMott just two of the many names calling for it to happen. Sitch certainly doesn't have many supporters right now, but on his Hall of Fame podcast, Booker T said it'd be wrong to take Sitch's Hall of Fame status away, and explained why, saying, "For me, I'm not looking for reasons to remove somebody from the WWE Hall of Fame, okay? That's just me personally. I don't think removing her from the WWE Hall of Fame is going to help her in any way. I don't even know what would be the meaning of it." Often cited as the original WWF diva, Sitch became a Hall of Famer in 2011, and while she may be losing something much more serious than an accolade if she's convicted, there are still some who consider her worthy of the Hall of Fame. And we're ending today with Jack Evans, whose contract with AEW expired last month, and the two sides failed to come to terms over a new deal. Evans is one of the few names to depart AEW and has had plenty to say about his time working for Tony Khan. Sitting down with Chris Van Vliet of Insight, Evans said that the big salary contract made him a little soft and that this wasn't helped by COVID or his injuries. Knowing that he was making money no matter what, Evans believes that he was resting on his laurels in AEW and is now ready to prove his value once again on the independent scene. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.